There are two things that are true in most businesses. Your customers or potential customers are terrified to call you, and all of the different ways they can access your business are branded differently. Those two things are true in most companies. So how can you ensure that you're not on the list of the majority? Let's get into it. Welcome back for another episode of Theory of Why. My name is Rob Johnson. We are doing another Express episode today on a concept that I unveiled at our Entrepreneur Forum in November. Now, this concept of a net new harbor is basically any entry point that a new customer can enter into your business or gain exposure to your business. So the four most common types is walk-ins, websites, phone calls, and referrals. So they're all pretty self-explanatory. When someone walks into your business, they're typically greeted. When someone calls, the person at the end of the line is walking them through what they need to know. The website, again, it's branding, should be geared towards, what you want them to do once they arrive on that homepage. And then a referral is someone telling, like one of your friends telling one of their friends about your business. So these are the four most common types of net new harbors for businesses. And what's really important to understand is if any one of these are out of alignment with the brand of your company, it can dissuade someone from doing business with you. Now, I want to take a look at each of these four. I want to spend about a minute to 2 minutes on each one because I want to try and knock this episode out in 10 minutes or less to make the most use of your time as you're watching this. So let's start with walk-ins. So when someone walks into your business, what type of experience do you want them to have? Now, at the top of this episode, I said that people are terrified to talk to your business. And that's because when someone calls a new business for the first time, there's a natural defense mechanism that sets in because they're afraid that the person on the other end of the line is going to be a prick. They're afraid that someone's going to be mad or angry or upset, and they just don't know what to expect. So that defense mechanism is already built in most people because they're afraid of that initial conversation because they just don't know what they're going to get. So when someone walks into your business, so let's say you're a mechanic and someone walks into your service center, they go up to the desk. Are they greeted? Is there just someone who's gruff and, a bit of a prick behind the counter who's just like, yeah, what do you need? It's like, well, nothing now. I'm out. I'm going to your competitor. So that walk-in experience is really important. And that's something that I'm going to give examples from my company as we go through this. But at Wayne Media, we really try and make sure that when someone walks in, whether it's a guest for a podcast or an existing client or just someone who might be, from a nonprofit, that they're treated really well. If they're a guest on a podcast, they'll be taken back to the green room. They'll ask if they need anything to drink, coffee, snacks, yada, yada. But we want to make sure that they feel like they're being heard, that they're important, and that is really important to our overall business success. I love going out into the community when I hear people tell me, yeah, my friend was at your studio and they said they were treated so well. They said it was the nicest experience they've ever had. Everyone from the people in the front to the engineers in the back, like everyone is just so kind. Like that's what I love hearing because that's a really big part of our brand and our identity as a company.
I do appreciate people actually want to hang out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to run errands. Like not nobody wants to be out. Like downtown Brighton's awesome. You should want to be part of the community and out in it. But people want to pop in and see how we're doing or just pop in and talk for a minute. And it's a different experience for me. I was like, why are all these people just hanging around? But it's like, oh no, this is actually what happens when it's you really do put your money where your mouth is. So
yeah, I appreciate that. And that's something that, Beth and I were very cognizant about when we were designing the studio was we wanted it to be a place that people felt comfortable, and so much so that sometimes people are like, can I just work here the rest of the day? And it's like, well, it's not co-working space. I'm sorry, but we're glad you were here.
No, but could you put that in a Google review for us?
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. People just feel so comfortable. They're just like, it's just so nice being in here. And that's a really nice thing to hear. But that's what you want for your walk-in traffic. You want people to want to be at your business because it's so nice and everyone is so approachable. The reason I used the mechanic example is because I've only ever been into one mechanic shop that treated me in, like, I would say average or a little bit above average. Everything else is just like you take a seat, there's someone who's really upset behind the counter. But interestingly enough, I'll give them a shout out. My wife had a blowout on one of her van tires, and I had called the same tire company that we've used in Howell. It's Discount Tire. And I didn't remember this guy's name, but for whatever reason, he remembered me. And I said, hey, the tow truck's going to be there at like 6:30. I know y'all close at 6. And he's like, hey, we're going to stay after to make sure that we get this tire squared away for you guys. And he's like, we already have some other things that we can do to get a head start on tomorrow. So we'll just wait for you to get here. We'll take care of you and get you on your way. That way you don't have to wait to get your van fixed. And I'm like, dude, like, that's incredible. So, apart from that, what I would call above and beyond experience, I've probably only had one other average experience. Everything else, the other 30, 40, 50 times I've been at a mechanic or a tire place, it's been garbage. But now, because they've done that, I don't care if I'm 100 miles away. I'm still taking my vehicles there because of that level of service. It's the same thing with our dentist and the kids. Like, we live 45 minutes from our dentist. We probably pass 50 dentists on our way to the one that we have in Okemos. But we go there because the service and how well they treat our kids is so excellent. There's just no reason to look somewhere else. I'll spend the extra time in the car to go to some place that I know is going to treat, my family well when we go there. So that walk-in business is super important. And that parlays into the phone call side of your business. Now, the vast majority of businesses have phone traffic, right? You might not have a website, but you have phone traffic. You might not have a business that people can walk into, but they can call you. Who's answering the phone? How are they answering the phone? Do they sound like they're smiling when they answer the phone? Or the example I gave at the Entrepreneur Forum is it, some gruff lady named Marge with a 2-pack a day habit. And, she's just yelling at everyone for inconveniencing her by them just simply calling and demanding that they do the job that she's being paid for. How dare they? That is the difference between someone who's smiling when they answer the phone and someone who puts the caller who's on the other end of the line into instant defense mode because they sound like they're being bothered. Now, I cannot stand that side of customer service. And when that happens, when I call someone, I generally just do a quick check-in. I'm like, hey, you sound really frustrated. Is everything okay? And typically that will cause them to drop whatever attitude they have by me just checking in with a random stranger who I've called on the phone, because they're not used to being called out for how they're acting. And other times they just get really defensive and, get pissy and argue with you and whatnot. But I'm just never a fan of that, especially like when I hear my wife talking to someone on the service side and they're just being a prick to her. It's like, well, let me see the phone real quick. I'll talk to them and, see what's going on and why their day's seemingly so bad. So walk-ins, phone calls. Next is online. This is a little bit of a trickier one to manage, but when you think about the overall concept of this, I think it'll click into place. When someone goes to your website, is it personalized? Is it written in a way that you talk to clients? Or is it, we give you a top 5 service, 5-star rating in Brighton, Michigan? Like, is it just keyword stacked where it sounds like ChatGPT wrote it? Or does it sound like people talk within your organization? Now, back in the day when SEO was very much based on keyword stacking and you need to make sure you have all the right words in all the right places on your website, like that is still true to a certain degree. But Google's new algorithm is tracking websites that are much more casual. The content is more custom and those websites perform better. And we've seen this in several websites that we've either consulted on recently or our current clients' websites being bumped up in rankings because of that fact. So the more personal your website is, the better it's going to perform on Google as a general rule. If it's all stock content and you're just going to Adobe Stock and downloading 15 photos that you like and adding them to your website, that's not helpful from a customer perspective because, those people don't work for you. It's not part of your business. That texture or that wall or whatever it is that you're putting up there doesn't exist in your business. So there's just a lot of things that aren't consistent, right? And when you have all of those elements that are stock, and then someone comes and meets you, and there's just an incongruity in their mind. There's already a distrust because what they saw online isn't what they're seeing in person. So like on our website, we have all of our values, our mission, we have all of our people laid out on there, all the photos or photos we've taken. So when they come to the studio or when they come to the marketing side of the agency, they're seeing the exact same thing. We talk in person the same way we talk on our website. And that consistency is vital in building trust, especially initial trust with a potential client.
I'm a web client. I'm a web hire, actually. I saw your phone number at the bottom of a page, and I called, and lo and behold, Rob Johnson picks up.
Look at that.
I'm like, what a concept.
Right.
That is. It's crazy. And as a user, I don't want to be on your website. I just want to make that clear. Not you, Rob. It's fine. But no. I work here. I have to say it. But no, I'm kidding. But like, I don't want to go on anybody's website, man. Just please make this painless for me, or just less painful than it otherwise would be if you would just clearly weren't trying.
Right. And that's one of the core design philosophies when it comes to web development, is making it simple, making it easy for the user to get what they need from your website. I shouldn't have to dig to 6 pages to find the piece of information that I need. If you're coming to my website and you're looking for website services, there's a tab that says what we do, and there's a tab under that that says websites. Pretty straightforward. Now, if it's like, what we do, and you have to click on that page, then scroll down to find the website button, then click that, and then it goes to, which type of website do you want? And then you have to keep on going down this line. You're going to get frustrated. You'll be like, why is this so difficult? Are they going to build my website like this? Like, that's something that people consider.
Why do people make you scroll past nothing?
Dude,
you ever, I mean, we scroll all the time, but you know what I'm talking about, right? When you're on a website, I'm scrolling past dead space. This is all just blank.
Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah, and it's because they want to pack everything on the homepage. They want one page to do everything, and it's just not a good layout. It's like, think of it like a house. Do you have all your furniture in one room of your house, or is it laid out in a way that hopefully it makes sense? Hopefully. I've seen some Hoarders episodes that'd be like, yes, we do have everything in one room.
We really do it all here.
Yeah, we have newspapers from 20 years ago. And cat food that has, long since expired, as has the cat. You want to make sure that it's laid out in a way that makes sense to the common user. And that's why if you ever want an education in what good web design looks like, go to apple.com, look at their website. That is, in my opinion, the best user experience website that is on the market. Go to their competitors, Microsoft, Android. Look at those. Look how terrible they are compared, to the customer experience. So they spent a lot of time thinking about how users interact with the website, and they've built their website accordingly. So that's the online portal. The last one is the referral portal. And at the forum, when I was talking about this, the way I gave an example was, if I tell you as my friend what my business does, am I explaining it in a way that's clear enough so that way you can take that message and tell it to their friend? So let's say that chain happens 3 or 4 times. So by the time it gets to the 4th friend, is it still pretty close to being clear what I do as a business? Or is it like the world's worst game of telephone, where I went from being a marketer to now I'm a plumber or something by the time the 4th or 5th friend hears about what it is I do? So are you giving a clear message as to what it is that you do as a company to people on the street, to your friends? Are you summarizing what you do in a way that they can take that information and share it with other people? So if you go ahead and visit key.com/small-business, you'll see a lot of different options for your organization. The first thing I would do, and this is what I did when I started working with KeyBank, is I did the small business check-in. It's a really good way to get a pulse of exactly where you're at with your business and what solutions and opportunities that Key can help you with. KeyBank has been absolutely phenomenal for our business at Wayne Media and Speakeasy, and I could not recommend a better bank. One of the things I really enjoy about KeyBank is they come to me. I don't go to them. So if I need consultation or if I need a strategy session, they're more than happy to come to my office and discuss that. And they're just a very personal, very real, and very authentic. They'll tell you what they can do, and they'll tell you what they can't do. And after I started working with Key, I decided to move all of my business over to them, and I haven't looked back. So key.com/small-business. You can find the link in the show notes. Go and do that small business check-in. I promise you, you won't regret it. All 4 of those are net new harbors for your business. That's where net new prospects can come through, assess what you do, make a snap decision, make a judgment within 5 seconds, as people are apt to do, and decide whether or not they want to do business with you. That's what you have to look at. Are all of those ports that people can come into your business the same? Are they branded in a similar fashion? Is the person that's answering your phone smiling? Is the receptionist at your front door greeting people and making them feel comfortable, making them feel welcome? Does your website have personal elements? And can you explain what you do to other people in a way that they can take that message and share it with others? And there's a lot of other ways that people can come into contact with your business as well. Third-party vendors, print marketing. There's a ton of different harbors to look at. But these are the main 4 that you need to focus on. And I absolutely love this concept from a business owner perspective, because had I have had this concept given to me when I first started, it would have made how I created assets and how I created experiences around my business that much easier. So think about all of the different ways that people interact with your business and ask yourself, can I control all of those harbors, or do I need to delete them? So if you have an Instagram page that hasn't been updated in 10 years and you have no plan to do so, just delete it. You can start a new one later. Same thing with Facebook or Twitter. Or X now. So, yeah, Elon's out here changing names. I got to tell you, Grant, I don't want to get off on too big of a tangent here, but Madison and I were talking about X the other day. And she had a really good theory. And she's like, well, what if Elon ended up buying Facebook and Instagram and then he just renamed them to Y and Z?
I'm glad that his supply of money isn't infinite, because that's exactly the type of thing he would do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that's been shared online before, but I just thought when she said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
I swear to God, if it starts with you, man, I'm gonna feel so guilty for being part of it.
Yeah, that's how you'd be fine. We'll edit you out.
Okay. Perfect.
Awesome. So as you're going along in your business, think about those net new harbors and how you can optimize all of those channels or delete channels that you can no longer manage to make sure that customers are getting the exact same experience across all of those different avenues. So think about that. I appreciate all of you watching. We'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.